this feels really weird, first of all. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But Alison Dee, thank you so much for joining me on our very first episode of How She Owns It. I feel like this is something that I just thought of and then I jumped before I was actually ready to do it. And then you volunteered to be a guest on it, and lots of other people did. And now we're here and we're recording this conversation is what I want to call it, because that's really what I want it to be, a conversation between you and I around self-worth and how you are owning it. And for anybody that's watching, this is Alison Dee. She is a positive mindset mentor. Did I get that right?
You did.
Had to watch what I was saying there because it could have gone on off on a complete tangent. And yes, this is the very first episode, so I'm really excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you and having a chat with you, because we've chatted quite a bit via Facebook Messenger, and obviously off this particular video series. And I think for me, like, I do get a lot of value from the things that you share and, you know, the story that you've shared with me so far. And I feel like you have so much value to give that my people will definitely get a lot of that from you as well. So do you want to start by telling everybody kind of who you are, what you do?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Alison Dee. I am a life coach and I specialise in positive mindset and manifestation, because I realised that I was in a very negative frame of mind all of the time. And when I came across positive mindset, it was just a bit mind-blowing to me, the concepts in it. And then also manifestation, like so many people made it so complicated and so airy-fairy. And I am a scientist at heart. I left my job last year as a biomedical scientist to go full-time with my coaching. And I realized there's a lot of really practical elements to manifestation, and I really want to share that with people. So mindset and manifestation are my key topics I love talk about them for hours.
Yeah, I've got to say, I can definitely relate to you around the positive mindset and all of that, because I used to be quite a negative person as well. And I think sometimes people can expect, when people talk about positive mindsets, sometimes it's that, you know, you have to be positive all the time. Positive thoughts equals positive situations. And you sometimes, I think people can feel like they can't actually feel what they're feeling, and that, you know, do you know what I mean?
Totally. And that's toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Absolutely toxic positivity. And I talk a lot about, in fact, I haven't talked about it recently. I think I need to start talking about it again. Like last night, I put a post out saying, you know what, I'm feeling really disappointed tonight. And like a bit of real talk, I'm actually going to allow myself to feel this, because not feeling the bad feelings and not allowing yourself to feel the bad feelings fully cuts yourself off from feeling the good feelings fully. And last year I did go through a very traumatic, painful bullying experience. And my anxiety was so bad, I had to emotionally shut down. So last night, feeling so disappointed was actually a really big win, because it was a really intense emotion, which means clearly my emotional range is opening up again. And that makes me feel really good, because it means I will now have the capacity to feel the highs even more. So it's about having emotional resilience, allowing yourself to feel your feelings. But I always say, feel the bad feelings, just don't park up there. Like, get out of it and, you know, honor your feelings, give yourself that time, but then you've got to move forward, because you don't want to stay in that negative zone. It's not a nice place to be.
Yeah. And my sort of saying is very similar to yours. Is, you know, you say don't park yourself there. I always say don't unpack your suitcase there for, you know, a holiday or whatever. But I love the way that you've just explained all of that. And I think it's a really refreshing perspective on it, because I think, as you say, sometimes there is sort of that toxicity when it comes to positive mindset and people thinking, you know, think positive thoughts and everything's going to be amazing, and read an inspirational quote, and, you know, and I think I certainly was there when I first started learning about personal development and a positive mindset. So I really like the way that you've explained that. And it is really real and raw, like you said. So yeah, I do love that. So just following on from that, then you just shared a little snippet of some stuff that you've been through last year. I was hoping, and I'm wondering if you want to just share a little bit of your backstory and what's gotten you to where you are now, and your whole mindset now, and the journey that you're on.
Yes, of course. So prior to 2009 is a bit like whatever. I went to uni, I partied, I had a few jobs, I didn't really find a career. And then 2009 to 2013, I was in a mentally abusive relationship. And it was when I came out of that relationship, massively in debt, that I hit rock bottom. And without knowing what it was called at that time, I actually hit on personal development and mindset work. And that's what got me out of the rut that I was in. And I actually hit upon, without knowing it, one of the principles of positive mindset, which is focusing on what you can do, focusing on what you can control, rather than ruminating and wallowing in what you can't control. And that started me on a personal development journey, reading books, finding, all the freebies out there. And then I decided I wanted to do something with my life. And I trained and qualified as a biomedical scientist. And then I realized that still wasn't making me happy. I had the career, the accolade I'd always strived for, and I still felt unfulfilled. So coaching kind of got pushed in front of me. It really was divine timing. And I've always been the friend that everyone turns to. Like, Alison, help me sort my life out. So I thought, oh, I could do something with this. And especially with all the life experience I've had, I think that makes me a very compassionate and empathetic coach, but you need some training and background behind you, because when people have been through traumatic experiences, you need to know how to handle that. So I trained as a coach, and I was only doing it really for a bit of fulfillment, a bit of extra pocket money. I still loved my job as a biomedical scientist. And then we got a new line manager, and he clearly took offense to me, and he started making my life a nightmare. And eventually I went off sick, and I had 4 months off sick while they did not handle it very well at all. And eventually I got fed up and I said I was leaving, because I was not content to sit in a situation anymore, because they validated my whole grievance. And then they were like, so when are you coming back? And I was like, no, didn't work like that. And they were trying to get me to move hospitals or move departments. And it was, an awful situation. So I said, I am worth more than that. And I quit. And I wasn't in the position to quit, really, but I was entirely in a rock and a hard place, and I couldn't really go back after everything that had happened. So that was actually a year ago yesterday, as we're filming now. So I've been officially self-employed for a year, and that's really exciting. And it's onwards and upwards now. Like, it's been a massive journey over the last year of why did this happen to me, and going through all of those feelings and processing what happened. But I feel like I'm really coming out the other side now and stronger for it.
I love that. And your whole, just like your energy is, it's like sunshiny. You've got a yellow top on just now. And I know your branding is yellow. Is it yellow and purple? Yeah. And I feel like that does really reflect you, because you have got a sunshiny personality. So I feel like you kind of, this whole thing is just you. It just, the whole positive mindset thing, it's really fitting. Like, it is you. Looking back on the last 12 months, then, where you said you got to a place where you quit your job and perhaps it wasn't the right time, would you would you would you do anything differently in terms of cutting the ties at that time, and sort of diving off the cliff into coaching, full time?
I couldn't really, because I felt so trapped.
Yeah.
because I was in that space where I was off sick and they knew about my business. So I couldn't be doing anything to grow my business while I was off, but also I wasn't in a capacity to grow my business at all. I was so riddled with anxiety. And because I live really quite close to where I used to work, I was terrified of going to the supermarket, that I'd bump into somebody and they'd be like, you don't look stressed. And, and then I decided to join my local health club, David Lloyd. It's a really nice one. And mainly because I was suffering so badly with cystic acne from the stress that I wanted to go and sit in the sauna and steam room and, just relax and have that help my skin. First time I went there, I ran into someone from work, and she isn't even a member. Her husband's a member, and she had gone along on his guest pass. And she was like, "Oh, you're looking well." And I was like, no, disaster. And I didn't then want to go for another month. And I just felt so trapped. I was like, I need to get out from under this. I've just got to escape. And it was a complete relief when I just felt free and I could suddenly start talking again and telling people what was going on. And, I needed that.
Yeah. Do you feel as though that then was kind of like your line in the sand as well, in terms of you stepping in and into, your worth and really owning your worth? That I know there's been a lot of healing and you've had a long journey since then. But do you feel like that was the start of you really, I guess, realizing what you were worth and that you are worth more than that?
Oh, definitely. I feel like it was a real kick up the bum from the universe, because I'd been saying for a while I wanted to leave and go full time in my business, and I was kind of procrastinating on doing stuff and really making it work. So I do feel like that was a really big kick to just do it. We made it so difficult, you can't stay there. As I posted the other day, like, I got what I wanted, because a year ago I posted a cryptic status saying, "Careful what you wish for, you might just get it." And so then I shared it the other day saying, I can finally share what this was about, and I got what I wanted. I went self-employed, I left the day job, but it didn't happen in the circumstances I wanted. So maybe be a bit more specific next time.
So just for anybody that's watching, maybe doesn't understand manifestation, because I know that's your jam as well, or maybe they've heard of it, but they have no idea sort of how it works. Can you give them a little snippet of what it is and kind of how it works?
Of course. So the definition of manifestation is literally calling into the physical realm what you can conceive in your mind. And it's about creating that energy and being in the energy to attract your desires and getting your beliefs aligned with your vision and your desires. So you could say, I would like to manifest £1 million, but if you're in debt right now, that's going to seem impossible to you. So your beliefs are not aligned. So it's about getting the whole, as I call it, the manifesting triangle complete. Your vision and being super specific. Lesson for me, I wasn't. And then getting your beliefs aligned, so you really believe that it's inevitable this is going to happen, and then getting your energy in line and being in a positive vibration, because the majority of the desires we want are in an abundance vibration. We want money, we want abundance, we want good things to come to us, and it's about raising your emotional vibration to be a match for that. Think of it like radio waves. You're just tuning into the right frequency. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. And it's very practical. It's very, creating your desires, but you have to tell the universe exactly what you want first. And that's where so many people fall short with manifestation, because they don't want to commit, because they don't want to feel hurt if they don't get it. And that's a bit of a catch-22, because by not declaring what they want, they're not going to get it.
Yeah, I love that analogy of it being almost like a radio wave, and you can kind of tune it.
Yeah, I'm a very visual person. I'm always coming out with my metaphors and analogies.
Yeah, I've not heard of it described in that way before, but it does make, like, that makes quite a lot of sense. And I can get that. So
Because our thoughts all have a frequency.
You're right.
So you change your thoughts, you change the frequency and the energy that your body is vibrating at. And the lower vibe thoughts you have. Ever notice how when you're in a funk and your day just seems to be going from bad to worse, your body feels really heavy and you feel like you're in really heavy energy and it just feels like you're wading through treacle? It's because you're in a low vibration. But then you're really happy and you're in gratitude and you're skipping around and you feel so light and fun because the energy you're feeling is really light and fun. Like, it is as simple as that.
Yeah, I love that. So just moving on slightly then. So obviously a year ago yesterday, was it? You drew that line in the sand, decided that you were worth more, started really owning your worth. How are you owning it now? Or how have you been owning it? And what are you doing to own it? I'd love you to share that if you would.
It has been a journey, massive journey. One of the first things I did to own it was tell work to do one. And I did say, like, I am resigning immediate, like effective immediately, because you've already broken the terms and conditions of the contract because you haven't kept me safe. So that was me, as you say, drawing that line in the sand and really standing up for myself and creating that boundary that I am not available to be treated this way.
Yeah.
Then now coming to terms with actually being a self-employed entrepreneur, like, it still feels like I'm not grown up enough to say that, but I love waking up in the morning without an alarm. I love owning my own time. I realised a few months ago, when we first started to get the nice weather, that I was sat outside and I was feeling guilty for sitting outside enjoying the weather. And I was like, hang on a minute. Hold up. What is this thought coming through? I was like, this is exactly why I wanted to start my business. So I would have this freedom and flexibility to have the nice weather, to choose my working hours. And in all honesty, another way I'm owning it, I don't want to work a lot of hours. I don't want to be one of these people that wears their 70, 80-hour weeks like a badge of honor on their sleeve. I want to wear a badge of honor that says, I worked 10 hours this week and I'm making a good living. Like, that's the badge of honor I want to be wearing. I had a nice light in. I got up and I enjoyed my coffee outside. And, you know, I've worked hard all my adult life. Like, I turned 40 next year. And at one point, I had 3 or 4 jobs just to keep everything ticking over. I've had lodgers in my house. Some have been good, most have been a nightmare, quite frankly. And I had to share my space with people. And I don't want to do that anymore. It's time for me to actually enjoy life and allow myself to own that and speak out about, we are allowed to focus on enjoyment. We are allowed to focus on rest and relaxation. You know, that's the biggest reason why I set up my business. I've had health issues in recent years, and I want to be able to take the time for me without explaining it to anybody. And I'm finally getting to that point where I don't feel like I have to explain it. It's hard. Society doesn't allow you to, you know.
Yeah, it's really timely and weird that you've said that, because I was on spa weekend with my friend just the weekend gone.
All your pictures.
Yeah, on the drive home yesterday, we were chatting about sort of maybe always being on the go, always wanting to do things for other people having expectations on us and not perhaps feeling like we can say no. So a little bit similar to what you were saying there. But ever notice that if you do say no, you follow it with because, or no, I've got whatever it might be.
Or, no, I can't do that, but I could do this. And you
Yeah.
try and compromise. Like,
Yes. And my friend's 3-year-old son, basically, if he doesn't want to do anything, he just says, no, thank you. he doesn't follow it with because, or I can't, I'm doing this, or let's do this instead. He literally gave us a life lesson, which is no thank you is a full sentence.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's so hard for us to actually just go when we say no thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And I have gotten, in fact, just last week, I was so proud of myself, because for a long time my time management has been something that I say I'm setting boundaries, and I let people trample over those boundaries, because I'm like, well, I work from home, I'm flexible, I can fit in with them. And somebody messaged me about having a chat for an interview, and she said, like, what time? And normally I would go back with, well, when are you free? And I went back with, oh, I'm free on Thursday, is there a time that suits you? And I was like, oh, check me out, like, I'm really starting to honor my time, and I've set myself Zoom free days, because it does derail me when I have a Zoom in my day, and I procrastinate and I watch the time, and I'm not good at just focusing and getting on with something if I know I've got something coming up, because I worry I'm gonna lose track of time. So I'm really trying to keep all my Zooms to 1 or 2 days, and then that gives me a couple of days I can just crack on with whatever admin I need to do. And yeah, I did that, and I was so proud of myself for actually adhering to that boundary, because boundaries are really great things to talk about, but they're not the easiest things to stick to, especially when you have people who do guilt trip you, or and you can say no, and they're like, oh, but it's like, no is the complete sentence, like, that's it, no thank you, no. So yeah, it's a lesson to learn.
I love all of that. And if for everybody that's watching right now, if you were to give one tip that has nudged you closer to feeling like you can do that, and this is a huge win for you because it's something that you've let go for quite a long time, what one tip, so what perhaps one thing that they could do that would move them closer to getting to where you are around honoring your time and boundaries? Is there anything that you could share?
I have marked it out in my planner, so once I write it in pen in my planner, it ain't changing. So I've marked out my screen free days, well, my Zoom free days. So yeah, set it like that, like put it, or you could, one thing that did help me was giving people the stall, oh, let me just check my planner. Then it gives you time to go away and go, actually, I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do this at that point, rather than making a knee-jerk reaction in the moment and then going, oh God, I really regret saying yes to that. You can go, let me just check. And then you can go back, and, it gives you time to think of a response. So get used to saying, yeah, I just need to check on that one.
That's a really good idea. And it's almost as if you are scheduling time in for you the same way that you schedule time in for other people as well, when you fill it in your planner. So I like that idea as well, because that's not something I do. But yeah, I'm gonna look at doing that. That's an amazing idea.
I know, I'm like, August looks really good to me now. Like, I was trialing this throughout July, and I was previous to that blocking a week at a time, and then I'm like, why don't I block a month at a time? Because just visually, to me, when I look at the months, sometimes you can have a busy week, but then that means you can prioritize having a more chilled week the week after, and you can balance it out. And looking at August now, it looks really good to me, and it looks chilled and relaxed, and so that makes me feel more chilled and relaxed looking at it. And yeah, I've kind of gone, right, I'm going to the health club that day, so can't take any calls that time. I'm having a Zoom free day that day, and I've marked it all out.
I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared. If there's anybody watching that wanted to come and find you, on socials. Where can they find you? Can you share that with us, please?
Of course, you can come and find me on my profile on Facebook, Alison Dee. You will notice the yellow. You can't really miss it.
No, you really will.
My group is the Positive Mindset Tribe. So you are very welcome to come join us there. And I will give, need to click that. I will give Julie the links where you can come and access my free guide, 10 ways to feel more positive, 10 ways to think more positively, even when you're fed up with life. And yeah, then you will get any updates and positive inspiration from me when you sign up to get that.
Perfect. So just to reiterate what Alison said, I've popped all of the links above this video. If you're watching it on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you probably need to look below, but you'll find the links to find her in all the places that she just said, and her very fabulous freebie as well, in the notes to this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.